Hello everyone, this is AmberAnkNA here. Welcome to my channel. Well, I play a variety of games and do narrations for fanfics. I'm really hoping you enjoy my content. If you do, make sure to comment below, leave a like, and subscribe with the notifications on. Right, so next time, this is AmberAnkNA. Welcome to my channel. So, hi. Transect. Chapter 19. Forever and Always. Paul felt it first. A slight tickle on the back of her neck instantly grabbed her attention. She perked up and frantically scanned the room. The thought of her fiancé returning filled her heart with joy. "She's here!" Tabathia beamed. "The goddess of time!" "Huh?" Paul asked. "Goddess?" "Oh?" Tabathia gasped. "There's something Tabanga called her." Paul saw that Master and Chloe felt it too. They symbiously reached up and ran their hands down their necks. "Here we go," Chloe said, chest puffed. "Time to beat some ass." "Where is Paul? Where is he?" Paul wondered, confused when she didn't see the love of her life anywhere within eyesight. Tabathia stepped to the middle of the room, commanding the group's attention. "The only way for her to come here and allow us all enough time to get through is to use my back door." Paul quickly went to the front door and opened it. She peeled down the dark street in one direction, followed by the other. Suddenly, the wind began to pick up. Trees' leaves down the road rustled with cultivating motion, moving towards the location. A bright dart like a star illuminating a gloomy sky appeared in the distance. It was rapidly growing as it approached. "There she is!" Paul yelled, finger pointing towards the brightness. Her eyes filled with tears as her heart fluttered in her chest. A couple of seconds later, Paul was standing face to face with death. The blonde had longer hair, tied tightly in a lengthy bun behind her shoulders. She was all blonde, except for the braid, which was entirely red. Her clothes were more futuristic, a vanguard in nature. Her body seemed to be a little thicker, with toned muscles showing through parts of her clothing. Other than small differences, she looked the same. "God damn, I missed you!" This quickly pressed her lips against Paul's, releasing with an audible snap. Then she grabbed Paul's hand and turned. "We gotta run!" Before she knew it, Paul was sprinting as fast as she could, hands linked beside her down the murky street. Lights from houses blurred by in streets as they went past. Having ran track during callers, Paul was already in good shape, but this was still faster. Her training must have been intense. Paul felt herself being pulled by death as she could barely keep up. Paul gazed back and saw Chloe, Max, and Tabathia lagging. Not far behind them, a thick black shadow, like billowing smoke, pursued. Dust began to slow, allowing her parents and Tabathia to catch up. "Paul, take my moms to the garden. Keep running straight that way, and you see the door. You can't miss it. Go! Now!" Without hesitation, Paul nodded. moving between Max and Chloe. She trusted each of their hands and took off. She was unable to move as fast as she did with Des, but she kept pushing forward. Max was no longer hovering as she did before, though she still moved a bit gingerly. Paul looked back again and noticed Des and Tabathia linked together by some sort of greenish electric current between them. Des sent shots of power from her outstretched cup hands into the back crowd, causing it to recoil in the spots that were struck. With each shot, Tabathia's body trembled. The pill backpedaled as they fought. Paul wanted to stop running away and be by her fiancé's side, but she trusted Des. She was also entrusted by Des to keep Max and Chloe safe. Up ahead, Paul finally noticed a door in the middle of the street, with beams of light shooting from its edges. "That's it!" When they arrived at the door, the knob turned and it opened. A man stood there with an outstretched arm, hand facing upward. The brightness of the place was nearly blinding. "My name is Hank. It's nice to finally meet you. Don't worry, your eyes will adjust to the light soon. Come in, quickly!" Several individuals dressed like Des and Hank hastily escorted Max and Chloe from Paul's hands, leading them down a particular path, disappearing into an area that looked different from the rest of the Lust Garden. She heard Chloe ask a question, and all she could understand as they scurried away was something about a secret ground. As Paul stepped through, Hank motioned for her to stand behind him. The man waved his arms around in a circle in front of his chest and shot a green lightning bolt of energy into the black cloud outside the door. The groom started, giving Des and Tabathia enough time to unlink and run for the door. Beyond the darkness, Paul could now see what looked like a million enormous beasts burrowing in their direction. A dreadful hopelessness weighed heavy in her heart, and Paul knew there was nothing she could do at that moment besides hope. "Tess, hurry! You got this, babe!" Tabathia dove first, followed by Des. Hank rapidly shut the door and shut it off. It stumbled a couple of times, then blinked out of existence. "I thought they were supposed to follow us through the door," Paul puzzled. "That was the plan, right?" "Yep," Des answered, as she pushed herself from the ground to her feet. "They'd be through in minutes. Now that they know where the hidden time-dilated energy pocket is located, we don't have long." Des grabbed Paul by the hips and pulled the pail together in their center. The waists all gently strammed together. She thrust her mouth onto Paul's and intensely, assertively kissed her. Paul released her worries and was engulfed by the thirsty moment. The two passionately stripped their lips and tongue together, gulping at parts of the other bodies, forgetting they had an audience around them. "Des!" Hank hollered, causing the girls to quickly stop. "Come on!" "Paul," Des whispered as he used her to retrieve the white excess saliva from her lips. "I am so sorry about your parents. I wanted to be there with you so badly." "Shh." Paul cut her off, placing her finger over her lips. "I know, Miss Dragonfly. You're saving the world. We talk about it after this is finished. I'm just so fucking glad to see you." Des nodded, then let go and joined Hank. For the first time, with her eyes much better adjusted, Paul got a good look at the area. Several hundred others were lined up facing the spot where they were standing, towards the once glowing door. It looked like an army positioned for battle. What she guessed was the astral case. From what she understood, a war was about to whip through the realm. "Hi! I'm Sarah!" An unfamiliar voice came from behind her. "You with me!" "Sarah?" Paul responded, turning back to face the person who was speaking. "Yes, I'm a healer! Just like you! Well, not exactly like you. I'm pretty much a doctor. You're more like a miracle worker." "Oh, and Tobacco is my wife. I know you two met." As if on cue, Sarah's partner walked up and pecked her on the cheek. "Love you." Tobacco beamed. The two hugged. "Love you too." Tobacco began to walk away. Then she turned back towards her wife. "Hey, Sarah. If anything bad happens to me, just know that you were the best thing in my life. I've been the luckiest girl in the world. You choosing to be with me? It's a dream come true. You are my entire universe." "You're scaring me, baby. Do you think we will be able to handle this threat? Because I know we can. We must. So, don't you say stupid things like that. Don't you dare!" "You're right." Tobacco lamented. "I see you soon." She blew a kiss at Sarah and joined Hank in death. "So," Sarah continued as she addressed Paul once more, "we are on the back line. You are to heal anyone who gets injured. I will help the best I can. It might be a lot of pressure, but you the boss. I look for you today." She petted a medical bag tied to her hip. Paul shook her head. I don't really know what I'm doing, though." "Did Tam not walk you through unlocking your power?" "She was supposed to." "She did? Yes. I was able to heal Mass." "Well, seems to me that you need to do the same thing here." Sarah waved her eyebrows. "Tap into that beautiful powers of yours." Paul gazed back at her. Sarah was pretty, in a sort of modest way. The girl's features seemed hardened, more serious and focused than those of her wife's. Tobacco, who was very pretty in her own way, smiled a lot. The muscles in her face were present most of the time. In a way, they seemed to fit together like puzzle pieces, opposite and snug. Suddenly, the realm trembled. "This way!" Sarah yelled as she led Paul towards the back of the lines. The Guardian's warriors started the link. Hundreds of green electric currents formed between different pales. From their vantage point, Dust and Tobacco looked to be at the very front of the line, providing Paul with an ominous feeling. Her future wife and her nemesis were about to face the evil force that murdered her parents. Revenge was on her mind, but Fiancé's safety was in her heart. Being at the front of the line didn't seem like the ideal spot for someone she felt was of utmost importance. Simultaneously, the entire group of warriors took several steps backward, unified as they marched. Paul hadn't noticed it before, but many of them wore emerald rings on their hands. She couldn't recall if she saw one on desks or not. She was just so happy to see the girl that she didn't pay much attention to her hands. The rings were made from iridium-infused emerald facets. We created jewelry according to the Book of Halos designs. In every story, the heroes never won without it, but it helps channel Enobic manipulation into its pull his form and energy. Give us more bang for the buck, you know? Someone must have been watching Paul's eyes as they darted from one wing to the next. Paul nodded. The ground trembled again, at a higher intensity than before. Sarah moved closer to Paul's side, practically tussling at the shoulders. I know we only met, but just talk about you non-stop. I feel like we're sisters in some ways. I certainly feel like I know you pretty well. Paul nodded again. She wasn't sure what to say, and most of her thoughts were on Dust's safety. Luckily, the unseen matter where the door once existed exploded, leaving a hole double the size of the door. Paul figured the beast he had seen in the distance earlier would come running through, and the garden's warriors would begin fighting. To her surprise, the destroyer himself, atop a different kind of beast, beastly rolled inside. He was large in structure, and his face and body were completely veiled. No! Dust streamed. Blasts of green energy struck the destroyer repeatedly, over and over again, showing up smoke from the impacts. So many strikes hit the target that the smoke completely shrouded the destroyer in a thick fog. Paul gazed at Des as he and Tabathia worked hard at the front, continuously striking the spot where the destroyer once sat. Their energy beams were thicker and clearly more powerful than the others. Slowly, the pattern of shots began to change. It looked like something was drawing their energy up above the destroyer's locations. What the hell is that? Paul asked. She didn't hear a response from Sarah, but she could plainly see that it looked like a wet chamber mirror of some sort. As the object floated high above the smoke, it was pulling the green bursts of energy inside itself and away from the destroyer. Hold! Dust yelled, and the warriors withdrew. They released their powers, though still linked, and waited for further instruction. Like a bullet from a gun, the mirror released the energy it had soared back out towards the crowds and doves, hitting many of the warriors, instantly evacuating the bodies. Their fluids steamed into the destroyer's veil as if he was absorbing their essence. Oh, fuck! Paul shuddered. Her heart sunk inside her chest, and her being quivered. Dust swirled and commotion broke out. Warriors were stumbling and screaming, running in all directions. Paul couldn't see if Jess had been hit or not. Paul! Sarah called out, but the brunette was stricken by fear. We have to start healing! Paul! She heard her name but was unable to react. Paul! A sudden blast to her side snapped her back to reality. Paul! I'm here, Sarah. Sorry. For a glimpse into the direction of the blast, Paul noticed a new hole had been whipped through to the garden realm. Thousands of beasts poured in from the side, looking back towards the destroyer. Thousands of more beasts flowed in from the door he had passed through. Yet there was no sign of the entity himself. We gotta move! Sarah called out. They ran to a higher elevation and could see the battlefield down below. Paul saw dozens of injured warriors and knew what she had to do. She closed her eyes and thought about the first time she saw Des on campus. Des pulled up on her bike after track passes. Paul remembered the fluttering in her heart when her eyes lasted onto Des's at that moment. Then she recalled the first time they kissed. A magnetic energy connected them in the middle as the lips first touched. Love enveloped her heart and straddled her soul in a blanket of perfect unity. When she lifted her eyelids, she no more witnessed people and beasts battling. She saw coils of life energy and countless whips floating inside each body. She reached out with her own life energy and, one by one, plugged all damaged coils back into themselves. "Wow, Paul!" Sarah whispered. "You're flippin' amazing!" Warriors who were once on death's doorstep stirred and resumed their fighting. Paul tended to heal, but it wasn't enough. More people were dying or getting injured than she could help. Sarah observed many others needing care as well, so she hopped down and ran out into the field. She pulled the medical bag from her hip and began balancing and sewing the wounded. As Paul kept healing, she found herself looking into the body of the destroyer, who was down from his beast walking towards death and Tabathia. She didn't see any coils, but there was a tiny energy fusion, a crack that looked different than the rest. "Shit! There's death!" They were no longer shooting its singular bolts of energy at the entity. They were weaving more complex weaponry and items. At one point, Dustin circled the destroyer in an aluminum energy case. He struggled to break free, but evenly did. Paul's concentration was broken when she heard Hank scream. "Ah!" The man's right arm was on the ground, and a beast was standing over him with a large axe lined up over its shoulder. Tabathia called out, "Death!" which drew her attention away from the destroyer. The red-braided blonde quickly somersaulted over to Hank's location. She weaved an aluminum shield and held it between them and the axe. The blade slightly cut through the shield, but not enough to strike. Dust jumped to her feet and used the edge of the shield to swiftly cut the beast's head off. When she looked back down at Hank, his arm was reattached, and he was standing to fight some more. Dust looked up and made eye contact with Paul. The ghouls nodded towards one another and got back to work. Without warning, the destroyer removed his face veil, freezing Tabathia in place. Using the same mirror that vaporized about a fifth of the warriors earlier, he sent it through the electric connection between Tabathia and Dust, forcing both to briefly glimpse in pain. The destroyer's proximity to Paul's fiancée caused her to lose her power and just lost out of feel. Dust was down below and her nexus was only a few paces away from the entity. The destroyer struck his hand from left to right, fiercely striking Dust and swinging her down the hill. Her body lay unconscious as poor Evil stood face to face with Tabathia. Dust raised her head, looking up at Tabathia. Tabathia smiled and gazed over at Sarah, who was helping bandage an injured warrior. She mouthed the words, "I love you, forever and always." Paul could see the fear in Sarah's eyes as the destroyer towered over Tabathia. A booming, high-pitched scream came from the destroyer's mouth, tearing the sand away and reducing the wed's head's flesh and organs to liquefied bits that floated in the air. "No!" Sarah screamed as she fell to her knees. "No!" The mirror absorbed the blood and purely in streams, leaving only a skeleton where Tabathia once was. A twisting smile energy immediately exited the mirror and was soaked into the entity, who breathed in Tabathia's essence. The mirror stuck to a smaller, palm-sized and was collected by the destroyer. Dust streamed out in pain from her location down the hill. The destroyer placed the mirror in a satchel that hung from his wrist. After other mirrors clung together as he walked, Paul went down to Sarah's location and picked her up, forcing her to walk. So he took her away from the area and left her inside a smaller house near the edge of the field. Sarah laid on a bed, weeping. As Paul started to head back towards the battlefield, she heard the destroyer scream once more, causing a playful ringing in her ears. Somehow, it was even more harsh than before. She fought through the pain and began sprinting back. When she arrived at the place where the battle had been fought, she saw endless piles of dead warriors and beasts. The sense of death hung in the air. The only two that remained were Dust, who was on her knees, and the destroyer, who stood above Dust's body. A new mirror floated in place behind Dust's head as the destroyer unveiled again. The energy opened the hole where a mouth should have been and started to stream. Hi everyone. This is AmberAnkNA 2000 again. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Because, I really did enjoy making it. But, so I hope you enjoyed it. Comment, like, and subscribe with the notifications on down below. Till next time, bye!